Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I was trying to find a door knob that would fit it. Do y'all have anything like that by chance?
A knob? No, I don't have a knob that would fit a 5-inch thick door.
Do they even make it? Do you know?
In a knob, no longer. There were manufacturers that a couple, 3, 10, 30, 40, 50 years ago made, I'm sure. Nowadays, all you're going to get realistically is a lever for a 5-inch thick door. So you could do a cylindrical lock that would have a lever and not a knob for a 5-inch thick door.
Like one of those L levers?
L lever?
I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. It just looks like an L on the outside, and you turn it down.
Yeah, it'd be a lever. Just any design a lever, almost, pretty much. But it'd be a lever rather than a knob.
Do y'all sell that?
We do, yes. We certainly do. There's other ways to go about doing this as well. You could use the cylindrical lock with a lever. You could do a deadbolt. You could also do a mortise lock for 5-inch thick doors. It will be shockingly expensive to do this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, several hundreds of dollars in that lever, cylindrical, or the mortise lock. The deadbolt won't be that awful, but it's still gonna be a few $100s to be sure, because you need custom length cylinders to go onto a door thickness like that. But you could do it, but it would be really expensive.
Do y'all make those custom pieces there? Or
we
no?
do, yes, actually.
Oh, you do? Okay. It's basically, I breed dogs, and so it's my big dog room, all insulated and AC'd and everything, so I need some kind of something on there. And I'm already so far into it that, however much it costs. Obviously, the least expensive, the better, but it's something that I need. How do I go about getting a price from you?
Well, I can just tell you. I know off the top of my head, you're going to be a couple of custom length cylinders, 50 with the deadbolt. It'd be about $375 is what a custom deadbolt would cost for a 5-inch thick door. So about $400 with freight, something in that range, and probably 2-week lead time to make up the cylinders.
Okay.
It would be super cool. It would be just like any other deadbolt that you've had. It's just going to have really long custom cylinders on it. And, it'll certainly work.
And so the deadbolt would have a lever on it, or is it a deadbolt and a lever?
It's only a deadbolt, just a deadbolt. Just a key only.
Okay.
You'd have to probably put some sort of a handle on the door to push and pull it.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So it could just be locked. It's not going to actually work like a doorknob and catch itself.
No, it won't self-latch. You'd have to pull it, push it closed, then bolt it. Just like a deadbolt on the front of your house.
I see it. No, I understand. I'm just trying to get an idea in my head. So the lever that you were talking about, the lever would be self-latching or no?
It would be, yes.
Okay, I'd rather go that route instead of the deadbolt route. Would that be the same price? Or?
It's going to be probably triple the cost.
Wow, really?
Completely made-to-order item. Absolutely, it's like you're commissioning a piece of hardware for yourself. Okay.
Yeah, because I can't find it manually. I've searched for days now.
Oh, stop looking. I get this call once a month. That's
really?
why I know. Oh, yeah, for sure. 5 inches on the thicker side, but I just built a 3.5-inch thick door, and I'll be making about 10 5.5-inch thick doors over the summer.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to make something happen. Let me think about it for the day, and I'll give you a call back tomorrow, and I'll let you know.
Yeah. So the approach, in my opinion, is look for a really easy, inexpensive solution. Number one. Number two, if you just decide that I'm not doing it and it is what it is, then you can always order this from me, and it's going to be perfect, exactly what you want. It's just going to cost a king's fortune, is what it is. And it's going to take several weeks for the factory to make this as well. So just keep all that in mind. And my name is Richard.
Yes, sir, Mr. Richard. I thank you so much, and I will, I'm sure, call you tomorrow for sure.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So let's dive into these three options. So first of all, Schlage, Yale, Corbin, Sargent, Falcon, all of these manufacturers, once upon a time would have made, and Schlage just most recently, as far as I know, discontinued, they all would have made cylindrical locks for thick doors in knob trim. And when you do a thick door in any type of lock, whether it be the cylindrical or the mortise or the deadbolt, you have to determine and then define where is the latch or the bolt in relationship to the overall thickness. Is it centered? Is it unequally extended to one side, unequally extended to the opposite side, inside or outside? You have to know where the center line of that lock body is, because all the parts, the entire chassis is built for that. When it's a cylindrical lock, it'll be made that way. Schlage and others still make them for that application. For in lever trim, you can order grade 1 lever cylindrical locks for unusual door thicknesses. That's not going to be a problem. That's going to be exceptionally expensive. I wouldn't be stretching reality if I said it would be over $1,000. It's going to be just like a heavy-duty grade 1 lever that you're going to see. It's just going to be made for a really thick door, and it's going to be that expensive. For every inch, well, it doesn't, whether it be 3 inches or 5 inches may not have a large impact on cost. It's just expensive right from the get-go. Now, doing a mortise lock is actually a little bit easier in the sense of the hardware getting made. Now, when you do extended door thickness locks, you have to think about the lip length of the strike plate. The strike plate that'll go on the jamb, unless the door lock is from the pull side of the door to where a standard 1 3/4 thick door lock would be centered, like 7/8 from the pull side to the center line of the lock. If it's anything other than that, you're going to need an extended lip strike plate, most likely. I would say almost most certainly you'll need one. If it's 7/8 from the pull side or the unsecured side of the door, let's say if it's a in-swing, a standard strike is going to work for that. A standard strike lip. And that could work just fine, and it likely would, but any other dimension is going to require a longer lip length. Now, when you take that logic over to mortise locks, now not only does the lip length of the strike plate very all but surely change, but so too will the cylinder length and the thumb turn spindle length and the key stock that act as spindles for the trim, the length of the mounting posts, and the machine bolts that hold it all together. So all of those pieces get extended, but it's all based on, here's 5 inch. Where in the center of the 5 inch is the center line of the lock body? Okay, if here's your 5 inch and you're just 7/8 in, and this is the secured side of the door, well, you're going to use a regular cylinder. Your cylinder length will be standard. The spindle over here will be the standard length, but the strike lip, the spindle for the thumb turn, the mounting posts, machine bolts, and the spindle for the inside trim will all be extended. So all that has to be defined. Entrance function, here's a part number. Entrance function mortise lock, L9453, 06A is your trim. Your keyway, your cylinder type, your keyway, how many keys you want, your trim, your lever, your knob, your row. You can do a knob in a mortise lock, by the way. Your rose trim. Then you're going to call out your door thickness. You're going to say, you'll indicate what side, let's just say from the secured side of the door, the side that may have a key, What's the lock center line from there? And then everything can be determined once you know the hand of the door as well. That has to be in there. You have to be able to indicate your finish as well. So that and then your thumb turn part number, if there would be a thumb turn in an L9453. You'd have to specify your strike. You'd have to specify your lip length. You'd have to tell the factory that stuff as well. Although the lip length of the strike, they'll determine that, but it's good practice for you to have that there. So that would certainly work, and it's not unusual for us to do custom mortise locks for abnormally thick doors. Now, 5 inches extreme. The last time I did something, I think, was probably for a 4-inch thick door, and then 3-inch and 2 7/8 and 3.5. That's all pretty regular when you do extended door thickness lock sets. The third option was a deadbolt, and the deadbolt is nothing. The deadbolt that I use is by Kaba Ilko, their 45 series, and it's basically a hub that goes inside the door, and then your bolt fits inside this hub. You then secure the latch bolt and the hub together, and then this hub has tapped holes on both sides where you then thread into it typical mortise cylinders. Those mortise cylinders can be regular Schlage C keyway. It could be any mortise cylinder keyway you want. It's just going to be longer. So the center line to the outside, the center line to the inside, subtracting and adding and things of that nature will arrive at a particular cylinder length. Let's say the client wanted a single cylinder, no problem. You're going to use a thumb turn style mortise cylinder. And we can either order custom length cylinders from the factory, or as I'd mentioned in the conversation, we can make them here. And a company by the name of Major Manufacturing makes the machined parts where you take a standard mortise cylinder and you drill and tap 2 holes in the back of it. You add this extended piece of machined brass, and you take 2 machine screws and you tighten it together. And then you add your driver is already inside of there, and you add your tailpiece, your cam, to the back of the mortise cylinder, which would be a fantail cam, or a standard Adams Rite cam would also work with this Kaba Ilko. And then you're done. It works. It works perfectly. Now, what length cylinder would you need for 5.5? They're going to be about 2.5 inch, because you have to add for the thickness of the collar on the deadbolt. You have to subtract because you're going to consume space inside of the door, because your 2 mortise cylinders won't thread all the way to touch each other. You've got to leave some room, and I would have to do the calculation. But they're going to be about 2.5 inch, assuming the deadbolt is centered in that door. If the client said, yeah, I'm going to have it 1 inch off center, okay, well then we've got 1.5 inches here and 3.5 over here, or whatever it might be. But for sure in that case, you'd need 2 mortise cylinders to make all that work, or 2 keyed cylinders if you want a double cylinder. Now, the nice idea of the Kaba Ilko concept is, if you can get a mortise cylinder, you can have it, which means you may not be doing a Schlage C keyway. You know, we did a job for an apartment building in Manhattan, and it was polished chrome Schlage FG. That's no problem. We can get FG cylinders, and we can extend those. If you were doing Schlage full-size interchangeable core, we can extend those. You know, if you were running a Medico system, and Medico will make you the right mortise cylinder length, which I'm sure that they will, you can put that onto this lock. So you can retain your existing keying system, provided your manufacturer can make the longer length cylinders, or we can extend the basic cylinder, the standard length cylinder. Let's switch to the screen view and let's just go over the top level concepts of what we're talking about. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, let's take a look at some basic concepts of what we're dealing with here on these lock sets. What we're going to do is get an idea of what the cost is to extend a cylindrical lock, and I'm only using Schlage just because it's the one that I had in my mind. We could certainly use other manufacturers, but the issue with some other manufacturers that I would think of would be that there's not a published list modification to standard hardware. So it's going to be always a matter of requesting a quote. So we're not going to really have the ability to know by looking at paperwork, like at a price list or a catalog, what the impact on cost would be. So let's take a look. So as I'm scrolling through the catalog here, we can see standard chassis is going to work on this Schlage ND lock, which is, while that loads, it's going to cover 1 5/8" to a 2 1/8" door thickness range. So that's pretty reasonable. It's going to handle common doors. It's just, if it's not 1 3/4, what is it? Well, 2 1/4 or 1 3/8", which really means the standard lock is not going to work on anything other than the standard door thickness. So when you get into the need for unusual door thicknesses, you're immediately in the realm of custom lock sets. So they're ND series mechanical lock, grade 1, cylindrical. It's going to have a variety of different functions available, a variety of different trim packages, lever designs that are going to be available. You just will have no shortage of possible options regarding that. Now, in the price list, they have charts, tables here that give you a lot of information. But let's just look at this one. 2-inch door thickness. 2-inch extended outside or extended inside is what that means. 2, 2 1/8, 2 1/4, 3-inch, 4-inch, goes all the way to 6-inch. You can see what happens here is that the modification to the chassis price is $326 for this. Okay. Now, that's the modification to the chassis. Then you have to add your price adjustment for a strike plate. That's $221. So that's $537 plus the list price of the lock. So now your list is pushing $1,350. Okay. You can see where this is going to be a $1,000 lock. That's the point. Now with the Schlage L series mortise locks, they're going to have a similar sort of concept that's going to happen with the mortise locks. L9453. L-series mechanical locks. No shortage of lever designs, cylinders, things of that nature. But again, you're going to have to extend pieces. Not a problem at all, but it will end up being expensive. And it will be in the price range of that cylindrical lock, for sure. Now, the deadbolt that I had mentioned, I'd like to show you what that looks like fairly quickly. Here's the 45 series. So here's the concept. There's this can be a single or a double cylinder. If you're going to order a custom thickness, it's going to have a cylinder on both sides. It'll have a key cylinder on one side, and then it can have a thumb turn option on the other if it's a single. And then all we're going to basically do is extend the length of these standard cylinders. There's not really a great... Yeah, okay. Well, we can kind of see... here we go. This is what I want. Okay, so the latch bolt fits inside of the chassis that I had mentioned earlier. Okay, you're going to connect the housing, I called it the chassis, the housing to the latch bolt. Then your cylinders get made to custom lengths. And that's just going to thread into the housing, into these holes here and on the other side here. That's simply how this is going to work. So nice, simple, and easy. I had also mentioned the custom cylinder extensions. So let's go to the major manufacturing site or page within our site. We'll get to the manufacturer's page and pull up their product catalog. Now the extend-a-cylinder parts, they're here. Got lucky. Right to it. So basically they make 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch, and 1 1/4 lengths. We can take these lengths and add them to a 1 inch, 1 1/8, 1 1/4, 1 1/2 standard mortise cylinder from Kaba Ilko. You basically, like I had said earlier, drill a couple of holes, tap the 2 holes in the back of the mortise cylinder, and then screw these attachments to it. You're going to need the proper drive cam assembly to go with it, based on what you're doing. The MCE D1 is the one that we stock mostly because it works with Kaba Ilko cylinders. But you can see that they make one for Medico. They make one for GMS interchangeable core. They make it for ASA, Schlage large format. Abloy ProTech. If you're familiar with that name, then you are deep in the world of high security cylinders. That is an absolute, that's a pretty high security cylinder right there. Corbin Russwin, they can do it, etc. So you get the concept. And at the end, it's going to look something not unlike this. So fairly easy to put one of those together. All right, let's wrap up this video on camera. Thank you. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, you know, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So if you have any questions on how to put together a lock set for an unusual thickness of door, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.